did not come with the back again at the garage. Thanks for watching. Today we got ourselves a Kia Sorento. It is an 2011 or maybe 2012 V6. What size V6 is this? It is a 3.5 liter. It is a 3.5 liter V6. I took this off the alternator box here. We were testing the battery. I took this off. Out it wasn't getting a charge with our little multimeter. Testing the battery. And the alternator wasn't getting a charge with our little multimeter. There. And the alternator. See that with my arm in the way. There. Right there. You can see that with my arm in the way. And the easiest way to get to it, I think, is going to be from right there. Underneath, like a combination. And the easiest way to get to it, I think, is going to be from here. So underneath, like. Now you can start by removing these clips. Just pretty simple. Looks like this one's already halfway out, but use a Phillip and just with a light pressure, because they're just plastic threads, you're gonna back that out just enough for those legs to squeeze in so you can get it out. And then these bolts here are 12s. You'll remove, gosh, how many of these are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 bolts, plus a million of these little clips. And then there's one on each side, right up in there. You can't get a straight on shot, so I'm gonna try to do it from an angle. There's one on this side too. But, I think they want you to remove this retarded. All of this just to get these two. Yeah, that's too steep of an angle. I'm gonna see if I can unhook the rest of this bumper over there to see if I gotta peel it down a little more. And we're definitely starting to get a better picture here. That's it. Oh no, it's up. There's the alternator up there. Yeah, but anyway, it's gonna help removing that side plastic over there and the tire. So that's what I'm gonna do next. So I almost started removing this big one all the way around, but then I realized it's this guy that needs to come off, and that's just held in with some 10 mils up there somewhere up in the ridge. So we'll get that out real quick. There you are. Since I did undo all these, let's see if this actually even helps. Yeah, a little bit actually. So we'll just set it like that. That's probably fine. And there it is. How do we get the belt off? Okay, so looks like we'll put something on there, a socket on that, and pull it towards the left. So now, how many bolts we got holding it in? We got the one pivot bolt. Well, it doesn't pivot. So there's hopefully only 2 bolts holding it in. That one. Some light leaks. Oh, let's see one up top here. We should be able to get that one from up top. And then the electrical connector. We can probably get that. I don't know. Top or bottom, let's see. Yeah. Probably gonna be better from the top. So we'll get those disconnected from the top, get that top bolt. Then come around here, remove all this plastic to get the belt off, and get that bottom bolt. Alright, so here's where we're at with this so far. Spent a lot of time trying to figure out the best way. Got the AC compressor like halfway or half the bolts out and was like, nah, I'd have to disconnect the lines to really drop it anywhere. So then I decided to drop the exhaust. It's just 2 bolts. Pretty simple. Spray them with some penetrating oil first, because these were gonna strip. Then I sprayed them, let them sit, and then they came right off. So take those guys off, take the heat shield off with a couple of 10, there's like 3, I think they're 12 mil bolts actually, 12 mil heads. And then you can kind of, you know, finagle it out the bottom was the way I did it. Take the dipstick tube off. There's 1 bolt at the top of the head, or it bolts right around here somewhere. And then I disconnected the oxygen sensor connectors from the clips and from the other connector, of course. So both of those are disconnected. This was able to slide the heat shield out after that. And now I got plenty of room to take the bolts off. There's 4 bolts on top, and those are 14 mils. Same as the 4 on the bottom, also 14 mils. And I just got the 2, or I got 3 left to do on the bottom here. I did use, what did I use? I used a 1/2 inch size 14 because it was just long enough. Didn't have to be a deep socket, but you know, usually the 1/2 inch sockets are deeper than a 3/8 socket just naturally. So that worked out to get most of them off. Now to get those bottom 3 bolts on the manifold, I gotta, I don't know, use some combination. I'm using the shorter ratchet because the clearance is tight. I couldn't use my 1/2 inch ratchet anymore up under there. So I'm gonna try the 3/8 ratchet with an adapter on the same 1/2 inch socket. See if that gets those off. Then the idea is to be able to slide the alternator straight over to the side right here where the manifold was sitting, and then out the bottom. I think that might be the only way, or disconnecting the AC lines and removing the AC pump, which those bolts are kind of hard to get to too on the top of that AC pump. But hang in there, let's see what's next. Got that guy out. Not easy. Oh, hello, alternator. Hello. Yeah, so this is the way to do it. Easily get to the connector now. Comes right out, and it looks like there's just 2 bolts, 1 and 2. We'll get from the other side, 1 from the wheel well, and the other one from the top, probably. Let me catch you back up on what I had to do to get all that. So I ended up taking the heat shield off of the cat, the heat shield off of the starter, just to get room to get to the most inside bolts. That one and that one over there, you can barely see that one. Those inside bolts. As you can tell, there's a lip, so it's, you can't get just a wrench on it because there's a lip on the header flange, and the bulkiness of a ratchet wasn't letting you get in here. And on top of that, to make it even worse, it was a long stud, so you couldn't just use like a short 3/8, you know, 14 mil, which is what these all were 14 mils. So you had to find something deeper than a, you know, a short one, but then a long one meant you couldn't use anything, so you had to get like something that went past here, and then a sharp angle. I actually ended up going through this gap here with an extension and having, look, this setup right here, 14 deep socket on a swivel with the long extension going through this gap, and I was able to get those 2 inside bolts, which for the longest time I was trying to use a wrench on the inside, you know, trying to get closer and closer, and then realized, you know, go further away, way far away. But that's that. And then I did end up taking all these bolts out of here too for that same reason. You know, just trying to get swinging room on a ratchet or a wrench, you know, because you only have so many options, and this wasn't letting me in the way, or letting me get in there. So I did take that off and scoot it over, and it's probably still going to be beneficial. I don't know if it's necessary or not, but that's just the way it is. We got this 14 mil here. It's pretty much loose now, and then we'll get the other one from the top. Oh, say goodbye to my knuckles. Oh, thank you, Jesus. Is there a third bolt? Oh, there we go. There we go. Whew. Oh, shoot. We're still attached with the bracket here. I'm gonna pry that off. Bingo! Alternator out. So if you look here, there's a hook right there. And there's the other side. Oh, that's it. But it's hooked. So you can actually put the bolt on first and then slide it up onto the hook and hang it, instead of trying to hold it up and line it up with one hand. Yeah, hooked it right in. Well, the alternator itself is pretty easy to put in. It's getting to it is the hard part. I can do the cables actually now while it's easiest. Tighten them up. All right, well, it's the next morning. Let's see where we're at. We can, I took a look in here and I can already tell I was a little tired last night. I got ahead of the game a little bit, jumped the gun, and forgot to put the heat shield on. So we're gonna disconnect that O2 sensor and see if we can sneak that heat shield down under. Recap so far. AC's bolted up. The header flange is on. Exhaust is bolted up nice and tight on both ends. What else did we take apart? I think We might be done down here except for putting the heat shield back on. All the electrical's plugged in and connected to the alternator and to the AC. Alright, we got these 3 here that go to this. We got those 4 that go to this side cover for the tire. 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then we've got these guys and those guys that all go to that big piece of plastic. So far, no extra bolts. Yay. I had to unbolt this guy so it's swivel back out of the way, but it's in there now. And then the other one from the bottom, and we'll tighten those up. And now we get to do the belt. This is probably one of the last things aside from the plastic, which hopefully you remembered how it went, but I can see now why it didn't fall out, because it got stuck on those nuts there. Or bolts, screws, wherever they are. I'm gonna start by hanging it back up on this top one. I can't see if you guys can see, so hopefully you guys can see. Alright, had Mike help me hold the tensioner back while I slipped it on. There's the final routing. I got it eventually. And I think now we just gotta put that piece of plastic on right here. Get it back. Sound like a screeching dog. Come back. Oh, Jesus. Okay, too far. Once you get those, bust your knuckles putting those 2 in, it's just as simple as putting the rest of the bolts and fasteners in, and it's that simple. We'll get that done real quick. The hardest part was definitely taking off the exhaust manifold, getting to those inside bolts. Thanks to Mike for pointing out a line of sight I didn't see before. Made it real easy. Wish you'd have pointed it out sooner.
All right.
last but not least, the battery. Hopefully this is no alarm that goes off. Okay, good. Whew. Yeah, sure. Okay, so we got a little smoke from the PV blaster, but that's okay. For now, we're just looking at if the alternator charging. Boom! Can you guys see that? 14 volts. That's a beautiful thing. I appreciate you guys hanging in there for this alternator change on the 2011 Kia Sorento with a 3.5 V6. If you guys liked what you saw, go ahead and hit the like button. You want to see more, hit the like button, subscribe, and the notification bell really helps out. Apparently you got to hit that thing because like 1% of my subscribers are watching. I don't know what that's about, but please like, subscribe, share, and I'll see you guys next time. Have a good one.